There's a portion behind the trees that we have storage. And then there's a piece in front of it.
You have one there.
And one of them, until they come over and tell them.
You said that's fine.
So yes.
That's where all this, that's where it's going.
Yeah, they're not doing that today. That's how it's gonna go. Yeah.
Six thirty having arrived, I will officially call the joint meeting between the planning commission and the common council to order. Has the meeting been properly posted and rolled and taken?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm going to reference item number 2 on our council agenda, and those that can stand at this time, will stand and say the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 2, before the joint planning commission and common council is a public hearing to review possible plan commission recommendation. Item 2.1 is a public hearing on a proposed comprehensive plan amendment from urban reserve to plan mixed use and plan neighborhood for 2525 East Geneva Street. And at this time, I would open the public hearing and start with staff. Yeah, we'll start with staff.
Good evening. We are here tonight to consider a proposed amendment to the comprehensive plan. This is regarding a property at 2525 East Geneva Street that's just north of Lake Lawn. On this property, it's primarily an agricultural use. In fact, it was annexed into the city relatively recently. And it came to the city's attention that Lake Lawn had been using that area for outdoor storage and other kind of ancillary uses related to Lake Lawn. That property is zoned rural holding, and so outdoor storage and a lot of those other non-agricultural uses are not permitted in that zoning district. The city determined that rather than having the property owner cease using that area for storage, it might be preferable to change the zoning in that location to allow for the storage. Upon looking at the comprehensive plan, I noted that that area is noted for urban reserve in the comprehensive plan. And I can speak to a little bit more about what that means, but basically what that means is before you can make any changes to the zoning property, you would need to consider an amendment to the comprehensive plan first. So that's sort of the high level summary. The applicant is looking at an amendment that would be for the entire 273 acre parcel. And they're requesting a planned mixed use category along the portion of the property that has frontage along Highway 50. That's a pretty flexible category that would allow for a range of type of uses and zoning districts that we'd expect to see along the highway. So commercial uses, some residential, office, things of that nature. And then the property owner is also requesting that for the remainder of the parcel without frontage to Highway 50, they're requesting the planned neighborhood category. So that's a category in the comprehensive plan that's geared toward new neighborhoods. It would allow a mix of different dwelling unit types, including single family, 2-family, and then also supporting uses that you expect to see in new neighborhoods. So open space, small neighborhood serving institutional uses like churches and schools, things of that nature. So just to wrap it up, in my staff report, you see a lot about zoning, because it's really hard to separate the zoning issues from the comprehensive plan issues. But the item before the joint meeting tonight is a comprehensive plan amendment for that person. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Jackie?
I have a question.
Okay, we'll start with Kevin. Go ahead, Kevin, and then I'll.
Kevin, you go first.
Yeah, I'm Richard.
Okay. So Jackie, I have a question. In your key findings, you wrote, the city planner feels strongly that a conceptual master plan for the northern 206.55 acre portion of the property should be prepared by the property owner or the city prior to approving development in the area. This could occur after the comprehensive plan is amended or before, but ideally before. A conceptual master plan, you go on to say, would allow more specific knowledge before we did it. And while the planned neighborhood future land use category was selected, this was being considered by the applicant. No specific development plans have been proposed. For this reason, it may be premature to approve a comprehensive plan amendment at this time. The city could consider only approving the southern portion of the property and leaving the rest of the property in urban reserve. The next paragraph reinforces that. And so my question is, given that key finding, is it your recommendation as the planner that we move forward with both parcels? Because it seems like your key finding would suggest that we went ahead with the 28.92 acre parcel and wait and leave the other one in urban reserve until we had more specific plans. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. Bruce?
I concur with Kevin. I actually basically had the same question. In fact, when I read you mix the whole thing, the 244 with the 66, with the 28, with the 206, and my understanding is the 28 acres, and I'm rounding those numbers, is basically the storage area we have now. And the part that faces Highway 50, even though you want to put it into plan mixed, they haven't given us any direction on what they're going to put there. It would make sense to me that even though I don't want to amend the plan many times, we should stick to the 28 acres and not do the whole property without some idea of what their overall plans are. I mean, they could be, how's it going to be fed by utilities? We got roads, we got all kinds of stuff that needs to be discussed. When you give them the zoning, you're kind of washing your hands and we don't know really, we lose control.
I think I'll just make some comments in response. In order to, before they can get to the point of being ready for zoning approval, there are a few steps that would have to happen first. So one would be this comprehensive plan amendment. And then let's imagine that the city did approve that southern portion for plan mixed use. The current storage on the site would need to go through a planned infill development process to allow for that storage to continue in that location. And any other land uses or anything happening to the east of this, where the storage is now, would also need to get rezoned. So there is one more step before they would start to have permitted by right land uses available to them. By not approving, by reducing the area where the comprehensive plan amendment is approved, you would kind of retain that two-step process for the future. So in the future, let's just say east of where the storage is occurring, they want to put in a restaurant. They would need to, if you keep the two-step process, and they need to come back again for comp plan amendment, as we suggested, and for a zoning change. If we grant the plan mixed use across the board, they wouldn't need to come back for the comp plan amendment, but they would need to come back for the zoning change. I'm happy to run through that again if that was confusing.
Kevin?
Yeah, I'll rephrase my question. When I read your key finding, I suspected that the proposed motion would be to approve the comprehensive plan amendment to provide for the mixed use section and retain the larger parcel as urban reserve, as opposed to having the larger portion become the neighborhood zoning plan. So can you just clarify why you concluded we should make most of those steps at this time.
Sure. So I think one reason I'm recommending that we approve the planned neighborhood is that I feel that the property owner does have an idea of what they would like to do. They have come with specific plans and a formal capacity with the city. And so I also feel that the planned neighborhood is a fairly it's a lower intensity category significantly as compared to the planned mixed use. And so the city would still retain significant zoning control over the remainder of that parcel. But I will acknowledge that if the city does approve the planned mixed use, the planned neighborhood category, that would be one less review step for them to go through in the future.
Okay, thank you very much. That helped me.
Thanks, Kevin. Any other questions? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Jackie, but that sounds to me like exactly what we're concerned about. That zoning, doing the zoning now, or the change now for the planned neighborhood leaves us few options down the road for something that has not come before us at this time to tell us what the petitioner wants to do. And I see that as a concern as well.
Yep, that's part of the reason I raised that in my memo too, because I wanted you all to be aware that you are removing one review step for them by approving.
But in your explanation, unless I missed it, I didn't see why this proposal as is presented here is superior to not changing the zoning for the back portion, for the northern portion.
I didn't really address that in the memo. I think my reasoning was, again, that the planned neighborhood category is pretty low intensity. And so fewer things could go wrong in that category. It certainly would be both bodies' prerogative to decide against assigning that category at this time if you feel it's premature.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions of staff at this time? Alderman Wilson?
The mixed use area goes all the way up to Highway 50, correct?
It's in the entire southern strip.
So you could put boats along Highway 50, you wouldn't want to do that, would you?
We would have to approve that through zoning. And so the way we are intending on doing this would be the boat storage would only be occurring in the area where it's currently occurring right now, which is sort of the southwest corner. And that would clearly define where that boat storage could occur and would not, if boat storage was happening outside of that area, that would be out of compliance with the zoning code. And they need to rezone that parcel or that section in order to have the boat storage spread outside of where it's approved. And they need to come back in front of both bodies here tonight in order to have that approved.
To get a better picture of what this area actually looks at, that the line to separate the two, is that do they only have boat storage now in front of that line, or is it behind that line also?
In front of, I think the map shows a large parcel and then two smaller pieces along Highway 50. And so it's only occurring in the southwest.
It shows one large and one small piece.
I guess it depends what map you're looking at. Yeah, to answer your question.
So everything
below
in the
line.
barn is all in the southern part? Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Can I clarify one thing, Ron?
Yes.
Jackie, I think you said on the southwest corner of that parcel, I think you mean northwest corner, right?
Because it's not all the way, the boat storage is not all the way to the road.
Right,
It's behind
Sorry.
the tree line.
yeah. I was thinking of the big parcel. Yeah. Yeah, it's behind the tree line, set back from the road a bit.
That's why I was
Or
curious where the
below the
line
line
actually
that you
was.
referred to.
So that line is actually further back than the tree line.
I'd have to look at that.
Okay,
That's the 66 acres they talk about for the planned mixed use. That's what you're talking about. That's 66 acres, which includes the storage and goes all the way east to Highway F.
So where is this restriction that they can't use the entire planned mixed use for storage?
So
I
changing
don't
the
certainly-
conference, yeah.
But they have to come, don't they have to come back with a PID for that portion of the parcel next if we approve this change in the comprehensive plan, Jackie?
Right, so if we approve, that's a great way to put it. We approve the comprehensive plan amendment now, it doesn't give them the right to do the storage. They need to come in and do zoning. And when we do the zoning, we're gonna draw a very precise shape of the, well, rectangle, where it's going to be allowed. And then if the plan mixed use is approved and the PID is approved, there will be an area that has plan mixed use for a future land use category that doesn't have, and that's still in agricultural or rural holding zoning. So they're not gonna be able to do anything differently on that parcel, on that area immediately. They'd have to come in for a zoning change to do anything besides agriculture in this area that's outside of the PID. Now, when they come in, if they do want to do something in that area outside of the PID, they would have to request a zoning district that would be consistent with our plan mixed use category.
It's a pretty broad category.
It is. And the city still retains you have complete autonomy in how whether you choose to grant a rezoning. So if you feel like it's not ready yet, if they come forward in the future and you feel it's not ready, you can deny the rezoning. You're not obligated to approve the rezoning just because it's consistent with the comprehensive plan. So down the road, separate from the PID, if they come in with request to rezone, you have the ability to determine whether that's appropriate, even if it is consistent with the comprehensive plan.
Any other questions of Jackie? Otherwise, I'm happy to go to the petitioner if there's no other questions for Jackie at this time. We'll invite the petitioner to enlighten us and talk about things.
My name is Richard Trohorst. I'm the attorney for KSP Family LLC that owns the entire parcel. We've been before the Plan Commission several times. I don't believe the council, but we have talked all this through, and I guess I want to kind of go through the whole process again. Right now, the way the comprehensive plan has the property, basically the only thing done is agriculture, and that's what had been done other than the southwest corner. So we want to bring this into compliance. However, to bring it into compliance, we need to change the comprehensive plan. Comprehensive plan is totally different than the zoning ordinance. So in order to do anything on the property, and it's inevitable, as everyone knows, the property is going to be developed. So instead of having to come in 3 or 4 different times to change the comprehensive plan, we've discussed what areas would be best to be, and we understood that it wasn't right to put the whole property in the same category of the comprehensive plan. So we chose, everyone kind of concurred that along Highway 50, the south 1,100 feet, it would be advisable at this time to put that in the plan mixed, because that was probably going to be developed differently. Being along Highway 50, it would potentially contain some commercial units, more so than the northern part of the property. So that's why we're asking for 2 changes of the comprehensive plan. One on the north side going from the urban reserve to the planned neighborhood, and then on the south, the planned mixed. because the north is not gonna be developed as soon. Then, that does not change the zoning, and there's not been a request to change the zoning of the north parcel. The south parcel, there is a request in to change the zoning, because the zoning, of only one parcel in the southern 1,100 feet. The eastern parcel is still gonna remain for agricultural purposes, rural agriculture. Only the southwest corner is being asked to be put into the PIP with a specific plan of where everything will be located. So tonight, we're really looking at changing the comprehensive plan, and I believe maybe recommending the PIP zoning district, which is a plan district, which we have to do a general development plan and a precise implementation plan, and that would then take place at future meetings. Now, we have submitted for the PIP and the general development plan, a diagram that shows the exact locations or boxes within which these uses that we proposed would be located. So we've located the area where there would be outside storage. We've located an area where there would be maintenance, outside maintenance. Now, I wanted to see if that's in one of the packet diagrams, but it may not be. So, but that has been submitted, and we're just utilizing that property for the storage and the maintenance where it's currently located. We're not expanding that, other than we've left the area north of where the storage and maintenance areas are, north of the barns, is still gonna remain agriculture, but we put it into the PIP in the event in the future we have to expand north, but we don't anticipate that. The buildings are all labeled as to whether it be storage or storage and maintenance, and the residences are labeled. There's some properties, a portion of the property that's south of, between Highway 50 and where the storage areas are, that's currently agriculture, that's gonna remain agriculture. There's an area between the barn and Highway 50 that was agriculture and crop, but it's now basically fallow. It'll just be grasses and that type of thing. It won't be used for any of the storage or anything. We plan to have them additional screening on the very south side or north side of the agricultural field that's between the storage areas in Highway 50 to further screen that with a arborvitae, so to speak, so it's year-round screening. This is all ultimately planned to be removed when it's been determined what the best use of the property to the north of Highway 50 will be. It's anticipated that it's gonna be some type of a commercial use, retail, restaurants, that type of thing. Well, at this point, we don't know. And currently, the development of the Harbor Club is driving everything. And when that's completed, then we'll be addressing the north side of Highway 50. So this is a temporary thing. And we've carefully discussed and felt that changing the comprehensive plan, a comprehensive plan category that would allow for what's anticipated to happen north of Highway 50. Residential, some commercial, there may be some lake lawn activities that would happen there. If there's development to on the west side, say along the Delavan Lake where the golf course is now, there could be a rearrangement that could ultimately be converted into a residential, and a portion of the golf course could maybe be located north of Highway 50. So there are recreational, commercial, and residential uses that are anticipated for the north side. But basically, each time we want to go forward with a improvement or development of a part of the land, it would require all the stages if we don't give one of them now. And so we're trying to predict that this is what we're going to use it for. And those categories are appropriate. So instead of coming back to ask for the same category in the future, it's being asked now. So allowing the comprehensive plan to be changed tonight is not allowing any specific use of that property. It's putting in a category wherein you could allow the use, but you're not bound or required to allow that use. And the only area that we've asked for a specific use is that southeast quarter, and that still has to go through the approval process, but we can't even start that approval process until we do this comprehensive plan change. So hopefully that clarified it rather than confusing it, but I was somewhat surprised in Jackie's comment that it's premature, in that this is how we basically thought the best way to do it was, so that we're eliminating a lot of public hearings because of the property when the property in question, when the comprehensive plan was adopted, as you read in this report, it wasn't even in the city. So that's why it got a category of the urban reserve. I mean, urban reserve, which is basically gonna allow agricultural uses. So we're now in the city, and there's been a water looped around all the property. It's ultimately gonna be developed. And so we're getting the comprehensive plan in order so that we can do an orderly development, which is going to require rezoning. So as I said, the only request for rezoning that's in our request before the city is only that 28-acre parcel in the southwest. And this is not a hearing for that rezoning. This is only a hearing to get the comprehensive plan changed so that we can have that hearing.
Any questions for the petitioner?
How many boats do you anticipate storing over there? 100? There's 100 units at Harbor.
Do you know, David? I think
There's 261 slips, so it could ultimately be 261. But we would have all that information provided when we come back for the PA.
Any other questions for?
Dick did a great job here, Torhurst. But the only thing I want to add is, we've been working with the city on this for quite some time. I know we haven't met with the council yet and described this, but a lot of these plans and what we had for that was on the pre-annexation agreement that we had signed over. We're doing a solid job on the Harbor Club. That is expected to be completed in 3 to 4 years. So even when we come back for the PIP approval process, it's going to be a temporary use for that particular quadrant of that land. Because ultimately, we don't see the bulk storage and some of those other things being at that location down the road.
Any other questions for petitioners? Anything else that staff would like to add at this time? Any questions for staff? Any other citizens in attendance that wish to speak on this issue at this time? Seeing and hearing none, then I would go ahead and close the public hearing and move on to Item number 2.2, which is consider a resolution recommending amendments to the comprehensive plans future land use map number 5. This is before the plan can, okay.
I would move to adopt the resolution recommending amendments to the comprehensive plan's future land use map noted as map 5, which involves changing the future land use category for the southern 1,100 feet of the subject property to planned mixed use and the rest of the property to planned neighborhood as depicted in Exhibit A.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Yes. I don't believe that, I mean, there's gonna be quite a time before the northern property gets developed. And coming back before us to ask for a comprehensive plan is not as big a deal as you make it out to be, considering that you're gonna work on the remaining 66 acres. I would prefer to change the comprehensive plan for the southern section, which is the 66 acres, which includes the storage and any other zoning changes they want to do along Highway 50 all the way to F. I don't think we should change the comprehensive plan for the northern property at this time without any idea. We know it's going to get developed. I mean, I don't disagree with that at all. But I still think that we should see some sort of idea how it's going to develop before you change the comprehensive plan.
Thank you, Bruce. Any other discussion amongst the planning commission at this time?
So I agree with that. If this was in place when we developed the comprehensive plan. But because this was annexed into the city afterwards, now we're just trying to make sure that it is as flexible as possible. And I don't see, like you said, I don't see how this would be difficult to change the comprehensive plan later on. If this is something that the city wanted to go in a different direction or the planning commission wanted to go in a different direction. So I'm not sure why we would want to wait.
Kevin?
Yeah, I'm sensitive to the concern because that's what I asked Jackie the questions about. However, I do think as I consider it, the reason I support moving the rest of the property into planned neighborhood is because I think that's a great use for that property. And I'd like to see more residential out there. And I'd like us to point to that's the future direction of that parcel. And if we would have been looking at it when we drafted the comprehensive plan, to Matt's point, I think we likely would have concluded that that parcel would have ended up this way at that point too. I think we see what the appeal of residential is and the creation of neighborhood is out in that area. And that's what leads me to want to approve the motion as written.
Any other discussion amongst planning commission at this time? Otherwise, we have a motion and a second. We have a roll call by the planning commission.
Commissioner DeWitt,
No,
Commissioner Kahavka,
Yes,
Commissioner Lewis,
Yes.
Commissioner Armstrong,
Yes,
Commissioner Beazer,
Yes.
and Mayor Schrader.
Yes. We'll move on to item number 3, which is review and possible common council approval. 3.1 is consider an ordinance amending the city's comprehensive plans future land use map number 5. Or a motion on the common council.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to adopt the ordinance amending the city's comprehensive plans future land use map 5, which involves changing the future land use category for the southern 1,100 feet of the subject property to planned mixed use and the rest of the property to planned neighborhood, as depicted in the map provided by the city planner dated January 18th, 2024, and pursuant to section 66. 1001, parent 4, parent C of Wisconsin statutes. There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, may we have a roll?
Alderman Square.
Yes.
Alderwoman Armstrong Garcia.
Yes.
Alderwoman Sutton.
Yes.
Alderman Wilson.
Yes.
Alderman Beazer.
Yes.
Motion passes, and Alderman Davis wasn't on virtually. Okay. All right, there being no further business before the joint committee, the planning commission. I would, and the council, I would, entertain a motion to adjourn the joint meeting. So, the motion, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, all in favor of adjournment, signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Thank you to the planning commission.
See you in March.
Couple minutes for everyone that wants to leave. Thanks again. We'll move then on to the rest of the common council agenda. Item number 3 are approval of minutes 3.1.
I move to approve the minutes from January 16, 2024.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item number 4 are communications. I know our library director has been waiting patiently. Now, I said 7 o'clock. I was pretty.
You're pretty close. You're pretty close. Good evening. I'm Michelle Carter. I am the library director of Aaron Public Library. I'm here tonight to give a brief update regarding our library's capital campaign and our building expansion. As you know, our capital campaign launched in July 2021 with the request from the city of Delavan to raise $1 million towards our project. As of February 13th of this year, 2024, the Delavan Aaron Public Library Foundation's campaign has raised $1,262,362.58. Woo! So you all have a handout in front of you. You can see all the details. I know that the president of the foundation, Wayne Osborne, also known as Ozzy, was very happy to put it together. So we did it, our community, the businesses and the people in the city of Delavan, Walworth County, and actually throughout the nation have been so very generous for our capital campaign. Our plan is to create a short video, and you all took part in that today with your pictures, and I hope to launch that on March 1st. I'd also like to personally thank you all for your perseverance, dedication, and advocacy for this project. It means so much to so many. Also, I also give you a handout on the library's 2023 statistics. I just want to take this opportunity to give you a few highlights. Library visits are up 135%. Grant awards are up 272%. Program attendance is up 23%, and digital usage is up 13%. So it's been a very good year for us. Also, one last thing I'd like to share, along with the campaign news, I'd like you to know that the library board has the future of the city of Delavan and the library on its radar. And the library board has voted and approved a rebranding of the library to take part or to be completed upon the expansion of our project, meaning that we will be renaming the library to the Delavan Public Library. This was a very long process. We took great initiative to look at data discussion and reasoning in this decision. We looked at Google results. Our Google statistics, we found an overwhelming number of searches demonstrated people are already searching for the Delavan Public Library. People are unable to locate the Aram Public Library, and transparency of name is needed. This comes about because we have a luxury apartment building being built. We have countless homes being built in our area. New families, individuals, and businesses are coming to the city of Delavan, and our community members need to find the library. We are also an area of digital divide. Many of our community members do not have access to technology and the internet to be able to find what they're looking for. Most people ask for a library by the name of where they live. Also, as I've told many of you, we will be a tourist destination. I often refer to the Milton Public Library. They went through a very large renovation like we will be doing. Their increase in visitor numbers increased 45% after the building was done. People will need to find our library, find Delavan, and find our businesses. With all due respect to the Arams, we will be acknowledging all of what they've done for us. And there will be recognition, of course, for the past donors as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. And thank you for the great information. I think you pointed it out before, but it serves as a good reminder that when we started this process, we thought some of the expert consultants thought $300,000, $400,000 might be raised towards this effort. A lot of us thought, no, we can do more, and clearly that shows, and job well done. And I know you're not gonna stop the foundation.
We're not stopping. Brian was very interested to keep us going. So we'll be launching phase 2. Watch for that.
And, yeah, we'll keep our fingers crossed for the grant, hopefully, that Brian Wilson put together, and we're exploring other options between state and potential federal funding as well. So all of it will certainly help offset the overall dollars. So thank you for your hard work. Yes.
I just have a question. Was there consideration for naming portions of the library, like a wing? And was that discussed to carry the Aram name forward? I do like the idea of keeping our history intact in some way. And
So
still recognize the fact that we need to be found on a worldwide level.
So the board discussed it at great length. The Aram Public Library will actually stay on the historical piece of the building. It's just the expansion that will have the Delavan name. And there are still naming opportunities. So I should have mentioned that our naming opportunities are in place until May 1st. So if anyone comes along with $1.5 million, they can actually name the library. With, of course, the board and the city's approval.
Sounds good. Any questions? Comments? Otherwise, thank you for continuing to update us on the progress.
Yeah, thank you for your time.
I also, under communications, just want to highlight, I know the fire department had their awards banquet on Saturday, this past Saturday night. And there was a lot of well-deserved awardees, but in particular, I wanted to recognize Robert Chapman, the assistant chief, for his 40 years. This year marks his 40th anniversary with the fire department, as well as Tim Sturdivant, our municipal judge, also for 50 years of service and dedication to the fire department. So we especially think of both of them and thank them for their many years of service within the fire department and serving the community. So with that, item number 5, our public comments. Citizens may address the chair at this point of the meeting. Please just limit your comments to items on the agenda and not once for no more than 3 minutes. Anyone care to make public comments at this time? Seeing and hearing none, we'll move on to item number 6, which are reports of committees, boards, commissions, and the Delavan Area School District. Item 6.1 is the Finance Committee and financial report. I would guess I thought Alderman Solis was gonna be on virtually, but, I can call on Alderwoman Armstrong Garcia, not to put you on the spot too much, I apologize.
The finance committee met on February 13th. A number of items from that meeting are on tonight's agenda. Next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, March 12th at 5 p.m.
Perfect. And is there a motion to?
I move to approve the financial reports.
Second. Perfect. There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none. All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item 6.2, general operations, Alderman Wilson.
Thank you, Mayor. General Operations met on Tuesday, February 6th. We went over some medics reports and, after GOC, we had a short safety meeting to address a couple concerns. One was daytime mutual aid for medics that averaged 56 minutes in 2023. And the second discussion about the feasibility of expanding our police department headquarters in the future. The remainder of the topics will come up later in this portion, in the business portion of this meeting. The next GOC will be March 5th, 2024.
Thank you, Alderman Wilson. Item 6.3, our planning commission, Alderman Beazer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The planning commission met February 5th and tonight. A number of items from those meetings are on the agenda tonight. And the next meeting is scheduled for Monday, March 4th at 5 p.m. The minutes are on file with the city clerk for public inspection if anyone is interested.
Thank you, Alderman Beazer. Item 6.4, our the public works, Alderman Beazer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Public Works met on January 23rd, and I believe that there's, I don't think there's anything, well, we'll see if there's anything coming in tonight. The next scheduled meeting is Tuesday, February 27th at 5:30 p.m. The minutes are on file with the city clerk for public inspection.
Thank you, Alderman Beazer. Item 6.5 is the Town of Delavan Lake Committee. Alderman Beazer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Town of Delavan Lake Committee met on February 7th. The next scheduled meeting is Wednesday, March 6th at 6 p.m. at the Town Hall.
Thank you, Alderman Beazer. Item 6.6, the Library Board of Trustees, Alderwoman Sun.
Thank you, Mayor. The Library Board of Trustees met February 15th. Michelle gave a pretty great update. I don't think I can top that. And our next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, March 21st at 5:30.
Thank you, Alderwoman Sun. Item 6.7 is Park and Recreation Commission, Alderwoman Armstrong Garcia.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Parks and Recreation Commission met on January 22nd. We discussed snow pond rates for 2024 and the Never Say Never inclusive playground. That it was announced last week too that that's scheduled to be built in Eden Park, which we're really excited about. So thank you, Mr. Mayor, for all of your hard work and dedication to kind of bringing that forward, as well as Tom, staff, Brian, Dusty, and Jessica as well. It's a exciting moment for Parks and Rec and the whole town and city of Delavan. So surrounding area is gonna get a lot of use, I think, out of that park, so.
Absolutely, thank you, Alderman.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
sorry.
and the next
Yeah.
meeting is scheduled for Monday, February 26th at 5:30 p.m.
Thank you, Alderwoman Armstrong Garcia, and I want to thank you for your leadership on, as the council rep, you were very instrumental in attending the meetings and helping to facilitate the wonderful park that you mentioned, and that is coming to the city, so thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
If I could, I'd like to add to that. That Never Say Never project is incredible. And I'm really happy to be part of that. Reviewing some of the videos that were in place, some of the children would have to travel to Kenosha to go and enjoy a park. So now we have the opportunity to provide those resources for more people in Warren County. And we can be a destination of sorts as that is. It's incredible. And the fact that we have a collaborative effort with the department, with the School for the Deaf on that, also something that I think was long overdue, especially considering they're in our backyard. They're part of us, so thank you.
Thank you for those comments. Item 6.8 is Communications Commission, that would be Alderman Solis. I know they haven't met since our last council meeting, so I'll give that little update, and I don't believe there's a meeting date scheduled at this time. Item 6.9 is the Delavan Downtown Project Management Team, Alderman Beazer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Delavan Downtown Project Management Team met February 19th. The next meeting scheduled is for Monday, March 18th at 5:30 p.m. We went over the egg hunt, which people can look forward to, and we also talked briefly about the spring morning walk. So come out and enjoy the day.
And the train show.
And the train show is definitely happening in person.
Thank you, Alderman Beazer. Item 6.10, Delbrook Golf Commission, Alderman Square.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Delaware Golf Commission met February 15th. The commission has agreed to change the standing date of our meeting to the first Monday of every month. The next meeting is scheduled for Monday, March 4th at 5 p.m.
Thank you, Alderman Square. Item 6.11, Tourism Commission, Alderwoman Sapp.
Mayor, the Tourism Commission met February 12th. It was a brief meeting where we awarded a grant to the chamber for the Rev Up weekend happening July 12th, 13th, and 14th. It coincides with the car show. And save the date. Our next meeting is scheduled for Monday, March 11th at 5.
Thank you, Alderwoman Sapp. Item 6.12 is the Delavan School District Points of Pride, February. I don't know if anyone wants, I don't think we have anyone from the school.
They're going to send a written update.
Wonderful. Sounds good. Then with that, we'll move on to item number 7, issues that came before the planning commission. Item 7.1 is consider establishing a storm sewer easement on the city-owned property north of 965 Racine Street.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the execution and recording of a stormwater sewer storage easement over the 1.79 acre city-owned parcel north of 965 Racine Street.
Second. There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item number 8, issues that came before the finance committee. 8.1 is consider submitting an 8% simplified water rate increase application to the Public Service Commission effective April 8, 2024. Do we have anyone from others? Okay. Perfect. Thanks for joining us again this evening. I know you were with us, Joel, and before the finance committee. So item 8.1, do you want to kind of give an overview of what we talked about for the benefit of the entire council this evening?
Sure, I sure can. And good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the Common Council. John Cameron with Ellers. I presented last week to the Finance Committee relative to a long-range cash flow analysis that we were requested to provide for the water and sewer utility. And on the water side, what's been identified is the need for some fairly significant water rate increases. Through the Public Service Commission, there are 2 options to increase user rates. One is through a simplified increase, which is considered to be an inflationary increase. The other is through a conventional rate case. Conventional rate case is something that I think is going to be looked to be taken up here at some point in the near future, but it does take quite a while to get all the way through. Whereas a simplified increase, there is a customer notification process, which is included in your packet. And then beyond that, an application that would be submitted this Friday, assuming you vote to the affirmative on this agenda item. And then the new rates would take effect April 8th. So it would be an 8% across the board increase to just the water portion of your utility rate. So this wouldn't affect sewer at all. So this would apply to the fixed customer charge as well as to the volumetric rates associated with the water rate increase. And it is, again, an inflationary increase in nature.
Thanks, John. Any questions for John from the council? I would just have one. Maybe you could just talk about, John, where 8% came from, like.
Sure.
4%, 5%, somewhere in between. How did you derive it, proposing that?
Yeah, so it is actually set annually by the Public Service Commission. So in February of each year, the Public Service Commission establishes the percentage increase that would apply to all utilities across the state that would be eligible for simplified increases. So it is based on a couple of factors, one of which is where current interest rates are, plus an additional factor for inflation, as well as just overall consumer price index and relative rates of inflation. So the PSC analyzes that every year. So this past year it was 8%. They just announced anything filed after March here will be subject to a 4% increase. So the goal would be to be able to take advantage of this 8% increase, knowing that you're still going to need an additional increase on top of it to try to break it up for the, for the customers.
Thank you, John. I know we covered that at the finance committee, but for the benefit of the entire council, I appreciate you sharing those details. Any other questions for John from?
How long before the 4%? I mean, it's 8%, how long will this last before you gotta raise it another 4%? Because I already got phone calls over this. I mean, is it gonna be 4% next year? 8%?
No, it's going to need to be significantly higher than that. So this increase is 8%, and then what you'll see come before you is a request to move forward with a conventional rate increase for the remaining percentage increase that is going to be necessary. So it's not a compounding 4% and then another 4%. It'll be 8% here, and then we're estimating upwards of about 50% in the conventional rate case. And that would likely, assuming you move forward with that, those rates would likely take effect sometime in early 2025.
John, you might want to remind them, when was the last conventional rate case?
I believe it was in 2012.
There was an inflationary one done in 2021.
That's correct.
Like the full scale was
Right.
Another thing too, and this might be good to look at, is the 5th page of this edition, or the agenda item. It has the notice of rate increase that will be getting published if we go with this. And it shows you what the existing monthly rate is for an average residence. It's going up about $2. So 8% a month. So 8% is just on the water side. It does not affect the entire bill. And that's what a lot of people, I run into this in other communities, people will conflate it and say, you're going to increase my entire bill by this. No, it is our base rate, and it's based on your water usage, and it's just water.
Thank you for that. Brian, any other questions or comments for John? If not, I would entertain a motion.
I move to approve the submittal of an 8% simplified water rate increase application to the Public Service Commission within April 8th, 2024 effective date for the new rates.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. May we have a roll call?
Alderwoman Armstrong Garcia.
Yes.
Alderwoman Smith. Yes. Alderman Wilson.
Yes.
Alderman Beezer.
Yes.
Alderman Square.
Yes.
Motion passes. Item 8.2 is consider the police department's payment request for purchase of the P25 mobile radio system. Chief, I'm gonna call on you because I know
Yeah.
we had
We had
a good discussion about this at the finance level. I know since the finance meeting, we gathered some more.
Right, yeah. This has been a complicated deal. It's changed multiple times. When we budgeted this back in 2022, we budgeted 220,000 and change for the program. Since then, Radicon was purchased by GenCom. We were able to get grants, the county was able to get grants, so how we pay for this has changed a couple times too. So when I was here at finance, I had asked to pay the full amount, and then we were supposed to get reimbursed. There was some confusion at the meeting, when I called Mr. Abbott, who takes care of the grant. He says, thank you for calling, because it has changed, it's changed multiple times and it's complicated. But the breakdown is that the county will pay Radicon half of the bill, we will pay the other half, so that instead of 220 we're at, 134, 104. The programming updates, we had bought the single band XL 185. This is one of the things that have changed with the county. We've had to go from single band to dual band, so we're able to use it outside of the county when we're working outside of the county. So we can communicate, and encryption costs. So that's another discussion. We're going to have some encryption for TAC channels, but the county, we're gonna meet with the chiefs tomorrow, and there may be full encryption with that. That's a county's decision, not ours. So that's how we got to that. And so what I'm asking for is permission to pay half of the bills for the radio project, which is 134, 104, 22.
Thank you very much for.
And I'm sorry about the confusion at finance, but we're gonna figure it out.
Basically, the fear was that this was a higher price than what we originally asked for, and it wasn't in the budget that way. But when he explained to me that they basically increased the percentage of the ARPA grants, it works out that it's still within, it still fits our budget, original budget amount. Even though there's the extra programming in it.
Thank you again. I don't know if there was any questions or not for the chief, but otherwise I would entertain a motion to approve.
I move to authorize the police department to submit the listed invoices to GenCom for the mobile radios for the new P25 radio system from account number 400.57210.8100 police equipment capital. Invoice number 328603 in the amount of $46,391.46. Invoice number 328761 in the amount of $63,993.39. And invoice number 328762 in the amount of $23,719.37.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, may we have a roll call?
Alderwoman Sutton. Yes. Alderman Wilson.
Yes.
Alderman Beezer.
Yes.
Alderman Square.
Yes.
Alderwoman Armstrong Garcia.
Yes.
Motion passes. Item 8.3 is consider January 25th bid results and the contract award for the 2024 street and utility project to Wasatch Corporation out of Burlington, Wisconsin for an amount not to exceed $649,438.
Move to award the 2024 street and utility improvements contract to Wasatch Corporation out of Burlington, Wisconsin at a total cost of $649,438.
There's a motion. Is there a second? Second. There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, may we have a roll call?
Alderman Wilson.
Yes.
Alderman Beezer.
Yes.
Alderman Square.
Yes.
Alderwoman Armstrong Garcia.
Yes.
Alderwoman Sutton. Yes.
Motion passes. Item 8.4 is consider the Mountain Road intergovernmental agreement with the town of Delavan.
I move to approve the intergovernmental agreement with the town of Delavan for the proposed Mountain Road work.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. May we have a roll call?
Alderman Beezer.
Yes.
Alderman Square.
Yes.
Alderwoman Armstrong Garcia.
Yes.
Alderwoman Sutton. Yes. Alderman Wilson.
Yes.
Motion passes. Item 8.5 is consider the purchase of a bandit wood chipper from Brooks Tractor and further declare the 2008 bandit chipper as surplus.
I move to approve the purchase of a bandit wood chipper from Brooks Tractor at a cost of $102,898.43 and approve the proposed resolution declaring the 2008 bandit wood chipper as surplus upon receipt of the replacement equipment.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Did you get a price from Vermeer? You don't like Vermeer's? I know you've had good luck with those, Richard.
So we did try Vermeer. We also tried more bark. Out of the three machines, staff like the bandit chipper the best. One of the things is quality of the product itself, and then also the other thing was safety features on the piece of equipment and the user friendliness of those to make sure that we are being safe when we are operating that, because that can cause some bodily injury very quickly in that type of machine, so. That was kind of how we got to that. The price point of all three machines are relatively similar. So I don't know if there would have been much of a cost savings going with any of the other brands.
Okay. Thanks for that, Nick. There's a motion and a second. May we have a roll call?
Alderman Square,
Yes.
Alderwoman Armstrong Garcia,
Yes.
Alderwoman Sun,
Yes.
Alderman Wilson,
Yes.
Alderman Beezer.
Yes. Motion passes. Item 8.6 is consider award of contract for the 2024 sanitary sewer rehabilitation program to National Power Rotting out of Chicago, Illinois, in the amount of $122,750.
I move to approve the award of the 2024 sanitary sewer rehabilitation contract to National Power Rotting Corporation out of Chicago, Illinois, in the amount of $122,750.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, may we have a roll call?
Alderwoman Armstrong Garcia.
Yes.
Alderwoman Sun. Yes. Alderman Wilson.
Yes.
Alderman Beezer.
Yes.
Alderman Square.
Yes.
Motion passes. Item 8.7 is consider approval of a contract with Civic Systems LLC for financial software and services.
I move to approve the contract with Civic Systems LLC for financial software and services with initial payment totaling $102,317 and ongoing support payments of $13,340 per year.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor, actually, you have a roll call.
Alderwoman Sun.
Yes.
Alderman Wilson.
Yes.
Alderman Beezer.
Yes.
Alderman Square.
Yes.
Alderwoman Armstrong Garcia.
Yes.
Motion passes. Item 8.8 are approval of bills.
I move to approve warrant 2024-01.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item number 9 are issues that came before the General Operations Committee. 9.1 is consider a beer wine license applicant for Yoshi.
I move to approve the Class B fermented malt beverage license and Class C license application for Yoshing, Agent Zhuping Li.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item 9.2 is consider a Class A liquor license applicant for Amon's Beer and Wine.
I move to approve the Class A fermented malt beverage license and intoxicating liquor license application for Amon's Beer and Wine at 325 South Wright Street. Mr. Sy, the agent, contingent upon the issuance of a final occupancy.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item 9.3 is consider approval of a temporary Class B retailer's license for St. Andrew's Congregation to sell beer at 115 South 7th Street for their annual trivia night, March 5th, 2024.
I move to approve the application from St. Andrew's Congregation for a temporary Class B retailer license to allow the sale of fermented malt beverage at 115 South 7th Street for their annual tribute night on March 15, 2024.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item number 10, under other business, 10.1 is consider the mayor's appointment of a representative to the Aaron Library Board for a partial term ending on June 30th, 2024. And I'm nominating Linda Christian.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the mayor's appointment of Linda Christian to the Aaron Library Board.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item 10.2 is consider a resolution approving the Delbrook restaurant lease with Lori Purcell.
I move to approve the resolution approving the Delbrook restaurant lease and authorize the mayor's execution of the lease. Lori Purcell, let's say that.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item 11, we come to public comments. Citizens again may address the chair at this point in the meeting. Just please limit your comments to once or no more than 2 minutes. Public comments. We didn't have any at the beginning. With that, we'll move on to item number 12, which are suggested future agenda items. Are there any future agenda items at this time? If not, as I always share, you can let myself know, or the city administrator know, or the clerk, and we're happy to put something on the agenda for future discussion. There being no further business, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor of adjournment, signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.